Assalamu alaikum. Dear students, welcome to lecture number 11. In lecture number 11, we will discuss phenon, taxon, and category. First of all, lecture outline. Today we will discuss what is phenon, uh, definition of phenon according to Kemp and Gelly, then phenon according to Sneath and Seccol, then examples of phenon, what is taxon, definition of taxon, then taxon according to Sampson, example, then discuss what is category, and then definition of category, or what are basic categories, and then again example. Lecture outcome will be after watching and listening this lecture, students will know about the concept of phenon, taxon, and category and taxonomy, and students will also be able to understand the basic differences among phenon, taxon, and category. And students will also know that what are basic different categories in biological classification. So let's start with the phenon. So what is phenon? According to Kemp and Gilly in 1943, they defined a phenon as a group of morphologically similar individuals in a population, or it is a sample of phenotypically similar population. So uh, according to Kemp and Gelly, phenon is the terminology used for morphologically similar individual in a population. Mean if they are physically similar, for example, if the eye color is similar of certain individuals, there is a phenon. If the hairs are similar, for example, curly hairs or straight hairs as a character, so if they have like curly, if 5 or 6 individuals have similar curly hairs, characteristics of their hair is curly, so there is one phenon. So it doesn't matter what the genotype is. So phenon is only related to the morphological, the physical appearance, or the second definition, which is like it is a sample of phenotypically similar population, which is physically similar, very simple. The term was actually used for different phenotypes that may occur within a single population. For example, it includes age, sexes, seasonal varieties, and stages. For example, uh, like old people, they have similar physical appearance, so there is one phenon. Like the teenagers have like similar appearance, so there is another phenon. And then the children's, the infants, they have again a similar appearance, physical appearance, so that is another phenon. And then sexes mean male and female. So male and female, they have very different physical appearances. So that's why the male and female, they are different phenomena. So for example, in a class of both male and female, if you like separate the girls on one side and boys on the other side, so boys is one phenon and the girls they are another phenon. Then there are seasonal varieties. So uh, there are some animals uh, which have different varieties in different seasons. I mean, sometimes they shed their fur or their feathers in one season, and in another season they regrow their, say, like their fur or their feathers. So the seasonal varieties are also different, and there are metamorphosis stage like pupa, like the adult stage, and like the eggs, then the pupa, the larva, so the larvae, so all the larvae like caterpillars, so all caterpillars they have similar shape, so you can say that is one phenon. And then the adults, there is another phenon. uh, Kemp and Gilly use the word phenon for such group which have similarity in physical appearances. So no matter if they are different genotypically, so we don't go into the detail of the genetics. So if they are genetically different, it's okay, they're different. It doesn't matter. But actually, The actual thing is that their physical appearance. So the physical appearances actually matters here in the definition of the camp and gully. So according to camp and gully, if organisms are physically similar and the physical appearance of some organisms are similar, there is one phenon. It doesn't matter whether they are genetically different or similar, but if they are physically similar, this is phenon. So then according to Sneath and so-called, the definition of phenon according to Sneath and so-called. So according to Sneath and so-called, different types of phenotypes within same population, there is individual within the same population or same species, if they are different, they are called phena. So like let me explain it a little bit, because the both of the definition are like similar. And the first definition, we discussed that if there are similar individuals within a population or a species, they are phenon. For example, boys and girls. So boys, their physical appearance is different from the girls. So girl is a phenon, and as that is female phenon, and that is male phenon. So they are actually similar. Girls are similar and boys are similar. Now in this definition, the definition is different types of phenotypes within a population. So for example, in a class of 50 students, some students they have curly hairs, some students they have like straight hairs. So when and some students they have green eye color, blue eye color, or black eye color. So when you call them that if you want to separate the green eye from the black eye, so what you will do, you will ask them to who have green eye color. So the green eye color that is different from the black eye color. So now the black eye color is different from the blue eye color, and blue eye color is different from the green eye color. So each of them, these the characteristics, they're different from the other. So different types of phenotypes within the same population. So the population is the same. All students they belong to the same population, that is Homo sapien, but there are different phenotypes. Like green eye is a different phenotype from the black, and black is from the blue. Curly hair is different from the straight hairs, and straight hairs are different from the curly hairs. So individuals within the same population or species, if they are different, they are called phena. So mean, if in a class of 50 students, 10 students have green eye color that is different from the rest of the class, and this is green eye phena, and the other one is black eye phena. So the rest of the 40 have black eye, so that is black eye phena, and the 10 students which have green eye color is different phena. And then if 20 students have curly hairs and 30 students have straight hairs, so again the curly hair is different from the straight one, and straight one is different from the curly one. So 20 boys or 20 students have curly hairs, and that is different phena from the straight hair students. There are 30 students which have straight hairs, so there is another phena. Now, so they defined phenon as a convenient term used to describe different forms or phenotypes that may occur within a single population. So actually, Sneath and so-called, they used this term phena or to explain conveniently the different forms or the different phenotypes or different morphological shapes in a population. So in a population, we have similar species, same species. So for example, in a population of like for example, as a population of Homo sapien, all Homo sapien belong to one species, but morphologically there are a lot of differences, like color differences there, eye color differences there, the hair structure, like the straight hairs and the curly hairs. So their difference is there. So there are many other differences among them. So for explanation of those different characteristics, the term phenon was used. Now we will discuss taxon, for the definition of taxon. So a taxon is a group of real organisms which is recognized as a formal unit at any level of hierarchy classification, or you can define any group of similar organism which is recognized by taxonomists as a concrete zoological unit. So like according to Sampson, so this was a general definition. Now according to Sampson, Sampson defined taxon, a named taxonomic group of any rank that is considered sufficiently distinct by taxonomists to be formally recognized and assigned a definite category. So all the definition, they are like similar, but they are different a little bit from each other, but the basic purpose of all the definition is similar. Like taxon is a group of real organism, for example mammalia. So mammalia, we know what are mammals. Mammals have mammary glands and they have hairs on their bodies. So that is the actual thing. So all those animals which like have mammary glands, where they feed their young ones with milk from the mammary glands and they have hairs on their bodies, are actually mammals. So taxonomic group, that taxonomic group which is sufficiently distinct from other groups. Now mammals are very different from birds and birds are very different from fishes. So taxonomists then formally recognized them. Like for example, all fishes are recognized different from the rest of the animals and they are placed at a different category. Like for example, fishes or Pisces. So and birds are like placed in their category, their own category. Like birds and amphibians are placed in amphibians, and all amphibians are placed in amphibia, and all reptiles are placed in reptilia because of their different characteristics. So taxon is actually a actual group of organism which is formally accepted, and that is in the hierarchic classification. For example, groups of bluebirds, thrushes, songbirds, and vertebrates refer to taxa. So now, bluebirds are actual group. Actual bluebird is a group of birds. Thrushes is a group of thrushes, or is a group of birds. And songbirds is again a group of birds. And vertebrates is also a group of animals, like all those animals which have vertebral column. So that is vertebrates. So all these, like bluebird is a taxon, thrushes is a taxon, songbirds is a taxon, vertebrate is a taxon. Uh, Now there are two aspects of taxon. Like number one, taxon always refer to concrete zoological objects. So keep this in mind, that taxon always refers to concrete zoological objects, actual real zoological objects. Thus a species is not a taxon. So now species, the word species is not a taxon. It is a category. But for example, Homo sapien or a human being or a bird, it is a taxon. But species is not taxon. Species is actually category which shows all the rank of that animal. Like for example, the species of robin. So robin, the species is not a taxon. Species of robin, the species of robin is not a taxon but a category. So this species of robin, this species is not a taxon, this species is category, while this robin is a taxon. So now the species of robin. So species is category, not a taxon, and robin is a taxon. So robin, because robin indicates or it refers to a concrete zoological object, or it's a real animals. So the taxon must be formally recognized by the taxonomist. So keep in mind, it is very important that taxon must be formally recognized by taxonomists properly. Unrecognized, like unrecognized categories or objects are not taxon. For example, genus is made of species. So many species they combine and makes a genus, and this many genera combine to make a family, and many families combine to make an order, and so on and so on. So if these objects become distinguished in name, then they become a taxon. So they, like for example, there is genus, there is species, but these are categories. Or when we recognize a robin as a species, so we will place it in a species category, and now it is a taxon. So robin, we will name it, and after naming it, it become a taxon. So like class is a category, it's not a taxon, but mammalia is a taxon. Why? Because mammalia have certain characteristics. On the basis of those characteristics, we name them mammalia, and then we place that mammalia in the class mammalia. So a taxon may be higher or lower taxon. When you go up in the hierarchy classification, like for example, a vertebrate is a higher taxon, and like if you come to the robin, so robin is a lower taxon. So taxon of thrushes, uh, Trididae is the name of the family. Birds and vertebrates are referred as higher taxon because they are at higher level, and while taxon of bluebirds, songbirds, robin, these are referred to lower taxon because they are in the lower categories. Then category. So what is category? So a category actually designate a rank or level in hierarchy classification, or it is a class whose members are all taxa that are assigned to a given rank. Mean all members in this category are taxon. They are taxons. They are taxa which have been given a certain rank. So, like for a degree, a category designates a rank or level. So there is a hierarchy classification from species up to the domain level, and there are many categories in between these two, like the domain and the species. There is gens, there is family, there is phylum, there is class, there is order. So there are many categories over there. And like for example, the term species, genus, family, and order all refers to categories. So these are categories. We place actual animals, and when we name them and we characterize them, then we place those animals in this species, genus, family, or and then they are called taxon. So there are more 20 or more 32 categories used in taxonomy. So the basic categories are lower categories and higher categories. Lower category species and subspecies are lower category, and then genus and above up to domain are known as higher categories. So species category is the lowest of all categories, and as a basic unit of our classification, it's the basic unit in the classification. Species is the best basis, while genus is the lowest categories of higher categories. So genus is the lowest in higher categories. Genus is not a lowest category, but it is lowest in higher categories. Now a little bit explain. Let me explain a little bit what is category. So category is actually rank, and taxon is actual objects. So for example, if I tell you that I have a friend, a professor, so you will think that okay, it's a professor, and professor is in 21 grade or 22 grade, but you don't know the actual person. So which professor? So for example, if I tell you that I have a friend which is professor in Kohat University, but you don't know the actual person. You from the word professor, you can imagine that that person is in BBS 21 or 22, but you don't know that who is that person. Or for example, if I tell you that I have a friend in army which is captain, so it gives you the rank. The captain is a rank, is a third rank, like second lieutenant, and then captain. So you think that okay, that captain is a third rank in the army, but you don't know who is the actual person. And if I tell you that I have a friend in Kohat University who is lecturer, so again you will think that the person as in the rank, or the rank of the person is lecturer, which is BPS 18, but you don't know the actual person. And if I tell you major, so major is the fourth higher rank in army, but again you don't know who is that major. So if I tell you Professor Akram Shah, so then you know the actual person. So now this professor is category, and this actual person Akram Shah is actually Taxon. So Professor Dr. Akram Shah. So Dr. Akram Shah is a professor. So if I tell you that my teacher or is Dr. Akram Shah, who is a professor, so then you know both the thing, the actual person Taxon, and you also know the professor, the rank of the person. So if I tell you again that my friend Asad Khan is captain in the army, so again it is clear you know the name of the person, the taxon, and you also know now the designation, the rank of that person, Asad and captain. So the actual person is Asad, and then you know that he has ranked third in like army. For example, second lieutenant, lieutenant, and then captain. And Muhammad Shoaib. So now he is a lecturer. So again, you know the actual person and his rank. And for example, Ehsanullah is a major. So again, you know the actual person and then the category. So after passing certain examination, Ehsanullah was placed in major rank. After passing certain examination, Dr. Ramshir Kramshah was like placed in this rank. So in the same way, when we like the scientists, right, the taxonomists, when they recognize certain species by their different characteristics, and then they name them, and then they place them in certain categories, so they become taxon. Like for example, robin, or vertebrates, or mammalia, or reptiles. So they are all taxon. But the genus, species, and up to domain, kingdom, phylum, these are all categories. Now the difference between taxon and category. So that the plural of taxon and taxa, and the plural of a category is categories. The equivalent term of taxon in English is group, while for category is kind. Category is an abstract term, while taxa placed in it are concrete zoological object. Category have no real objects, while taxa is a group of real objects. Category is related to hierarchical classification, while taxon represent real objects. For example, phylum is a category, while chordate is a taxon. So phylum is a category, while chordate is a taxon, because chordate actually shows all those animals which have like notochord and certain other characteristics are actual organisms. So that's why there is a taxon. And phylum, it shows only the rank, that it is a rank in the hierarchy classification. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any question, please ask.